With the name of Allah Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear student, friend, follower, your warm welcome in our online academy, the ESL Academy of Linguistics and Literature. Dear student, you know that in our subject criticism, especially in MA English Part 2, we have to critically evaluate one of poem. So today I'll teach you E. Cumming poem Listen by E. Cumming. I will introduce you about a writer, poet like E. Cumming. E. Cumming is an American poet. He was born on October 14, 1894 and died on September 3, 1962. E. Cumming has seen two World Wars. First World War, the duration of First World War is 1914 to 1918. If we talk about World War II, 1939 to 1945. So what happened during these two wars? A lot of people died, and the Americans, when when they got independence from especially British, so they started writing, experimenting with new way of writing. So talk about Emerson, talk about rest of the poet like Robert Frost, even talk about Walt Whitman. They were writing free verse. So here E. Cumming is also experimenting new style of writing, and he is prominent due to his new way of experimenting poetry. So here E. Cumming, he was born especially in Cambridge, Massachusetts, around about 1894, died 1962. He has seen two World Wars in his life. His father was a minister and professor, and his mother, she loved literature, poetry, and she instilled in him the love of poetry and novels like that. E. Cumming is known as a 20th century poet. He was the best poet, novelist, and he is prominent due to his new style. So he was writing innovative style, especially in poetry. So that is why he is very prominent. And the other thing is that he writes poetry while giving no caption to poetry. So there is no title for poetry. You have to find title yourself. So in his collection of poems, you will not find any caption or title for the poems. His father was a minister and a professor, and the second thing is that his father served in World War I as a volunteers. He served in World War I. Listen poem has been taken from E. Cumming 1964 collections, around about 73 poems, of which it is in number 63. So in his collection, this poem is in number 63. None of his poem has been given as any title. So mostly reader or audience, once they read poetry, they find the title from the first line of the poems. So in his poetry, there is a lot of deviation. He is even using unusual pattern. Wherever there is a need of capitalization, he light in lowercase letter, and wherever there is a need of the lowercase, he started using capitalization. So it means he is using foregrounding in a way to attract the attention of the reader. Foregrounding, in a sense, mostly poets, they have a poetical essence. They started writing and experimenting with new way of writing. They attract the attention of the readers. Sometimes they use unusual pattern. They started even using like deviation. They even use parallelisms and foregroundings, something like that. So here is a poem, the Listen. We'll see it at graphological level. We'll see the theme. We will even analyze the poems. So first of all, how we are going to analyze it, we'll see it where he is using lack of phonological parallelisms. So here in his poems there is internal deviations though. So he is the poem in poem you see that there is where there is a need of the capital letter, he is using lowercase letter. Where there is a need to stop, he is even using sometime opening with the hyphen signs. And there are a lot of internal and as well as phonological lack of phonological parallelisms, and there is internal deviations as well. There is a foregrounding like that, which is a poet going to give impressions to foregroundings. So we see that writer, especially in this poem, writer has used open class and closed class. Open class like noun, adjective, noun, main verbs, adjective and adverbs. And if we talk about the closed class, like they are used to link and glue the sentence. So talk about the determiners like that, this, that, these are the closed class. So talk about the preposition and the determiners like articles. See, these are the closed class. When we use open class, we want to get meaning. So these are used for the meaning, and we'll find there is a maximum use of the noun and verb, especially in his poetry. So then we have closed class preposition, and like that he's not using in his poetry like closed class. He is having the use of open class. Then we find over here noun, main verb, adjective and adverbs. So whenever we want to analyze poem, we need to find these. Where is the information? So where information is lying. So for that we need to find the noun, main verb, adjective, adverbs, and we find that there is abstract and concrete noun as well, especially in his poem. So we'll separate the concrete nouns and as well as abstract nouns. Then further we will stylistically analyze, and we'll find where is the main theme. Over here in this poem, we will get the theme nature versus human. Then we will further see the words, the word he has used for the human being, the word he has used for the nature. So there will be some nouns that will be used for both nature and human being. He has used finite and infinite verbs. So sometimes present simple and progressive kind of verbs in the poems. Then he has also used directive verbs as well, like first form of the words like laugh, go, sleep. So these kind of words are, these are the directive verbs he has used in his poem. And then there is no neologisms, no unconventional fixations in the poems. He has used lack of phonological parallelisms in the poems. We find lack of phonological parallelism. Foregrounding is over here. These two terms are very important in a way to stylistically analyze poems. What is parallelism? Parallelism mean agreement. The positions or relations is in parallels. So we want to, whether we are going to write a sentence or we are going to show a rhythm or sound in the poems, that must be in parallel forms. So whenever there is agreement in the sentences and the sounds and rhythms, then we'll see it is in the parallel. But once there is no agreement in the sound or rhythms or the sentences we are using in the poems, words we are using in the poems, we'll see there is a lack of agreement or the parallelism. Then we have foregrounding. Mostly poets use foregrounding to attract the attention of the readers. So like he has used opening word O, P, A, and so this is what he is attracting the attention of the reader. And sometimes he capitalize certain words where there is no need. So these kind of deviation in a way to attract the attention of the readers. Since a speaker is not mentioned over here, whether the speaker is a male or female, we assume we just predict while reading the poem. We have assumed from the speaker will be male because he has used the word darling. Since the poet himself is a male, so we say the speaker in the poem is a male as well. So it is a totally assumptions whether the speaker is a male or female. Anyhow, we have tried our level best to just consider it as a male because he has given a reference like darling. So darling is definitely for the female and the speaker must be male. Then we find other things like that. Let's see from our points. So here is a poem. This is a dog. This is a dog. Listen has been, this title we have just taken from the poem. So this is a dog barks, and how crazily, houses, eyes, people, smiles, faces, streets, steeples are eagerly tumbling through wonderful sunlight. Then look, self-stir right opening, our leaves, flowers, dreams. So opening, that it is just whenever there is a spring and openings. So it is just talking about opening is just shown with the word. So word opening itself showing that something is opening. Come quickly, run with me now, jump, shout, laugh, dance, cry, sing, for its spring. Irrevocably and in the earth, sky, trees, everywhere a miracle arrives. Yes, you and I may not hurry it with 1,000 poems, my darlings. So here my darling word shows the speaker in the poem is a male because darling is used for the beloved. So we assume the speaker is a male and he is talking to there is a romantic scene between lover and beloved as well. So there is the main theme, nature versus human being. The main theme, lover is talking to the beloved. So darling. So but nobody will stop it with all the policemen in the world. So here the policeman basically a stereotypical word which shows ordinary symbol of the power. So analysis, let's see lexical features over here. We have nouns and main verbs, adjective and adverbs. So here is a nouns, dog, houses, eyes, people, smiles and faces, street and steeples, sunlight. So these are the nouns. And listens, main verbs, barks, tumbling, look, stir, write, opening, comes, run, jump. So run, jump, come, these are the directive verbs. Shout, laugh, dance, cry, sing, arrives. And then we have some adjectives and adverbs as well. So there is a wonderful, it's adjective, and then we crazily adverbs, and easily adverb, quickly adverb, irrevocably adverbs. So here let's see, there are around about 19 nouns, and then we have verbs 21. This shows that this is giving phonological analysis. It is just it is giving us a kind of sense. So they are noun and verbs and adjective adverbs. These are mainly used. These are, you could say, open class words, and these are used to get meanings. So this poem is for meanings first of all. And then we have other things over here, distributions of noun with the basic semantic classes. The semantic is more about, you could say, literal meaning of something, but pragmatic, that contextual meaning. And sometimes we need to combine semantic and contextual, pragmatic and semantic in a way to drive meaning. So we need to use contextual and literal meaning in a way to get good meanings. Nouns related to nature: dog, sunlight, leaves, flowers, earth, sky, trees, miracles, word. And then houses, eyes, people, smiles, and then faces, streets, steeples, dreams, poems, policemen. So these are the noun related to the human. So we say that nature and human, the main theme of the poems. Then deviation of the parallelisms. So parallelism, it is usually found, especially lack of phonological parallelism, in a way to attract the attention of the readers. The phrase being bracketed where no grammatical need in order to express the notions of the happening, same thing. An example would be line 12, 13. If you see line 12 and 13, openings are leaf, flower, dreams. So here the bracketed part of the 13 seem to mean to leave. The flowers are physically opening at the same times, and poet dreams are openings metaphorically. So poet dreams are opening, flowers are opening, leaves are opening. So opening is shown with the word opening with the hyphen sign. So he is showing something is opening. Even the dream of the poet, as well as the flowers and leaves and the trees and everything, is being compared with the poet's dream as well. So let's see further. So here are some words: how crazily, houses and eyes, people, smiles, steeples are eagerly, wonderful, sunlight, come quickly, come, sings for its spring. What we can note from this is the absence of the phonological parallelisms in the last stanza. Again, foreground this part of the poems. The last stanza open is heavy with the deviations, which just so here already I have told you. Whenever poet want to attract the attention of the readers, he started using foregrounding. He is sometimes using parallelisms in a way to create some extraordinary thing for the readers. So there are a lot of deviations, especially in the lot of foregrounding, especially in last stanza. Congruence of the foregroundings in the final stanza. Congruence of foregrounding in the final stanza. As we have seen, there is a strong element of foregroundings in the final stanza of Listen. This is what Leach 1969 described, the congruence of foregroundings, which is where we get a lot of different type of foregrounding occurring at once. This is obviously very important for the interpretation for the poems being coming and overall conclusion about meaning. Let's consider again exactly what element are foregrounding here. So here we find a lot of internal deviations, especially in this Cumming poems. The poem is about the lover is talking to the lovers, and the scene is like the nature versus human being, and we see there is foregrounding, there is deviations, there is poet using different styles. So we see that there is internal deviation as well. So where the internal deviations. Secondly, unlike the other stanza, there is a lack of any sort of phonological parallels. There is a lack of phonological parallelisms, and disregarding the obvious lack of punctuations, the grammatical ordering of the stanza follow conventional rule of stanza. What is interesting about the foregrounding elements that they are a result of the internal deviations. All the foregrounding because they conform to the normal expectation of the written language. Let's see conclusion. Now we have analyzed the poem stylistically, and we are in a position to write about it. First of all, it is in the free verse. Writer has used different style, writer has used innovative style, writer has used deviation, he has used foregrounding, and like these poems, sometimes they are complex to analyze. Here in Nelson's show, the stylistic uphold interpretation of poem, highlight the element of the poems, otherwise it enables us speculate more certainly precise way. Cumming choose to use seemingly odd stylistic technique in Listen. For example, we say that deviant punctuations is link and foregrounding for dynamic verb. explaining why we perceive so much movement in the poems. Analyzing the poem stylistically also highlight how the internal deviant features of the poem is those usually considered to be normal, non-deviant language in both everyday communication within the poetry. So here are some notes. Although many people believe that E. Cumming had the lowercase spelling of the names legalized, the E. Cumming Society has recently been working to correct this idea that is now generally believed to be false. So some people say that there is a lowercase, like his name is also written, but we have used here in E. Cumming in capital letters. So note, we can't state conclusively that the speaker is a male, and then one thing more, we can't conclusively say the speaker is male, but from the Darling word we have assumed, from the writer who's a male we have concluded the speaker of the poem is male. The absence of the phonological parallelisms in the penultimate stanza. Penultimate stanza means series. Something in the series, when something running in a series is known as penultimate stanza. It's perhaps explained by the fact that it's a stage that poems language becoming more normal arrives of the final stanza. Hope you've got the message. The main theme is human versus nature, and there is a deviation. There is writer has used parallelism, and then he has foregrounding, and there is a lot of deviation. He is an innovative and modern writer. He has used World War I and World War II. His age is 1894 to 1962. He is known as 20th century poet. Stay blessed and have a nice time. This video is for my one of follower. He wants to critically analyze the poems. I've just told him method in this video. So in my next video I will be telling you how to critically evaluate poems, and we'll take a T.S. Eliot poem, we either take a William Blake poem or something like these poets poem, and we will analyze one by one. Stay blessed and have a nice time, and don't forget to subscribe our channel.